to the league. You're joined here with your co-host, David Magid, and my fellow co-host, who you may know as the Solar Maverick, Benoit Thanjan. And welcome. You give us 5 minutes, we give you the latest in clean energy trends. First trend that we're going to be speaking about today is NYSEG RG&E had filed a report regarding the demonstration project that they had completed as it relates to flexible dynamic interconnection in New York State. This report was filed with the Public Service Commission, and this report provides very interesting outputs of how they were able to increase the capacity by having these dynamic windows of when renewable energy resources are able to be deployed. Definitely recommend everybody taking a look at this, learning from the demonstration project that was completed by this utility in New York State. Second, very interesting fact, many of us may have seen this headline already. US solar production soared 25% 2024. That's coming from a majority of that, about 20% is coming from the utility sector. When it comes to the small utility sector, about 18, 19%. So we're seeing a lot of great increases, and that's that.
Dave, that's two great items. Thank you for always coming up with the best content in the renewable energy industry. As Dave said, I'm Benoit Thanjan, and you might know me from the Solar Maverick podcast. I was this past week at Bitcoin 2024, which was in Nashville, Tennessee, and one of the keynote speakers was President Trump, also RFK Jr., which was amazing to have two presidential and a former president at a Bitcoin conference. Energy and renewable energy came up. One of the keynote speakers was Kathy Wood. She has a famous investment fund called ARK Invest. And the moderator of that interview with Kathy was still Mark's Elise Killian. And they were talking about how with the expansion of renewable energy, specifically solar and wind, it being intermittent, that obviously you need storage to basically help with the ebbs and flows when there's excess energy and using it at different times. But you could also use Bitcoin mining as a way of offsetting or using it as a form of storage, and it could be a reliable energy off-taker and anchor tenant. This is something that I've actually been talking about for 2 to 3 years, and we have a couple of podcasts on the Solar Maverick podcast about that, and it'll help with the peaks and troughs of now what we're seeing in certain states is there's too much solar coming online when it's really expensive. And at that time, which is great about Bitcoin mining or crypto mining, you could basically turn off the mining and wait till power prices are at off-peak and lower times. It's interesting, they kept talking about anchor tenant. Right now, I think like in the US, banks are not comfortable with financing projects where the anchor tenant would be with Bitcoin, but some of this is actually happening in Africa. The second item is there was a bill introduced in the US Congress. Energy and Natural Resource Chair Senator Joe Manchin and Ranking Member John Barroso are poised to clear a major hurdle in a quest to revamp the nation's energy permitting system and bolster the electric grid. They introduced last week, which was, I think, July 21st, legislation called S.4753, which includes provision to expand the electric grid so that it can carry more renewable energy across the country or longer distance. It also has language on streamlined permitting for certain projects. And I think this potential legislation will help the renewable energy industry and other energy projects that are not renewable. Thank you for your time. You've enjoyed 5 minutes of the best information. If you enjoyed the content that we're providing, promote, like, and give us a 5-star review or become a subscriber. Thank you.